Hey everybody, welcome to our downtown studios. I am John Ramdeen alongside Robin Black. Today is an important day in mixed martial arts history. It is the day that Holm defeated Ronda Rousey in Australia to become the 135-pound champion, shaking up the bantamweight division because everybody thought that Ronda Rousey was unstoppable, that she would hold this championship for years and years and years. I think this was a good thing, right?
Yes, well, not if you're Ronda.
Not if you're Ronda.
I mean, getting kicked in the head by somebody like that in a stadium and then having the hate of the whole world come back at you because you played a character out in the press then hiding out for, if you're Ronda, this was a terrible thing. I think about that year, and by the time she fights, it will have been 13 plus months. And in that time, Conor McGregor knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds, fought Nate Diaz in an epic fight and learned that he was not invincible, went back and retooled, fixed himself, won the rematch, and then came back and became the lightweight champion of the world.
Shocking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you look at what can be done in a year. So what did she do in that year? Has she been training and focusing and improving and developing? If so, man, I can't wait to see. Or did she go and hide out and lick her wounds and travel a path of self-examination and many things we don't know about? We really won't know until we see the fight.
Of course, Ronda Rousey takes on Amanda Nunes for the 135-pound championship coming up on December 30th at UFC 207. And one of the things you have to note in history, because Ronda, like a lot of the greats, have been compared to other greats. For example, Anderson Silva. People thought Anderson Silva was unstoppable, and he was unstoppable from April of 2006 to October of 2012. Anderson Silva had won 17 fights in a row against some of the greatest fighters in the history of fighting. Anderson loses, and then he loses, and he loses, and I think there's a no contest in there, and he loses again. Do you believe that that could be the same fate for Ronda Rousey?
It's possible. It is possible. Hard to say. I mean, after Ronda, Holly won, and then lost, and then lost. And then Misha won, and then lost, and then lost. I mean, there's a pattern being produced here of the highs and the lows, and you have to learn not to get too high so that you don't go too low. But it is a reaction to this type of burning, white-hot star power that afterwards the whole world piles on you. Once ever my ass. Listen, man, Ronda's an incredibly special athlete. Once in a lifetime. To train somebody from the time they're that young with world championship level training from a mother within the household to create that is once in a lifetime. That is incredibly special. She is a mind-blowing athlete. So because she said things that may have rubbed you the wrong way, you don't have to angrily react. This is still a human being, and that's what she's dealt with for this year. So how she's dealt with that and what she's done with her training around that will dictate where her future is. It's in her control. Ronda, it is in your control. You can control the way you react to their reactions. You can control what you focus on. Your perspective is your power. I'd love to see Ronda come back and look amazing.
When you look at the other 135-pound fighters in her division, Ronda Rousey becomes the UFC champion. She becomes one of the biggest stars in mixed martial arts. So if you're in her class, the idea is, okay, eventually I'm going to be facing off with this girl. It's going to be the most money I've ever made in the sport. What things do I need to address? Now, the armbar is one of those things, clearly. So Amanda Nunes, when Ronda Rousey became the champion 3 years ago, maybe even longer than that, because Ronda was a Strikeforce champion. Amanda Nunes was also in Strikeforce. It's like, okay, I'm going to be facing off with this girl. Let's make sure our armbar defense is where it needs to be. So it's been years of her defending that. Now, in addition to that,
let's call it 5 years.
5 years.
Against Ronda's 20 years.
Yeah.
But 15 years ago, Ronda had 5 years of armbar experience under her belt and has built on that for 15 years. It's the level of, yes, you got to train the armbar and defending it in escapes and the throws, but 5 years of your effort gets her to about 10 years old, from which she built on that platform.
But aren't other fighters, can they not have better gains? You look at Conor, for example. He wasn't doing this stuff 5 years ago. You dedicate the time, you take the necessary steps to make sure you're as good as you can be in these areas.
We're all capable of doing those things if we optimize and if we focus and if we improve our ability to improve our ability. Holm didn't engage any of that crap. It became about, if you can't get your hands on me, I'm going to beat you up. And that's why we predicted she was going to win the fight, and that was how to win the fight, and that very very picture is now being brought to other fighters, Thompson and Connor and many, and Cruz and many others. That concept, if you can't touch me, you can't do nothing to me.
I'm sure there are a ton of questions when it comes to Ronda Rousey and her return to mixed martial arts.